All right, guys, welcome back. 1776 or bust. So on the table, you see a holster. Again, this is going to be our second admission into holster month this year. And this is a holster for this gun right here, which is my Walther PPQ. Now, this gun, I don't really carry much anymore. So when I decided to do another holster month this year, I wanted to do something where I could actually get a new holster, carry this bad boy, and be comfortable doing so. And I have to say that this holster right here from a company called Just Holster It, let's see if you can see that. Just Holster It is actually a New York-based company. So when I found them online, I, of course, reached out and asked them if they'd be willing to participate in Holster Month, and they did so by sending this guy out to me right here. Very appreciative of that. Again, anytime I have an opportunity to help support other companies, especially local companies that are based out of the unfriendly state of New York, then that's what I'm going to try to do. They're actually not very local to me per se. They're about 5 hours away from where I live, but they are in the Buffalo region. And it's kind of interesting because that region isn't necessarily going to be, at least the city of Buffalo, isn't going to be the most, gun-friendly region. However, outside the area in the country, yes, probably. But nonetheless, a New York-based company, and they're making pretty good stuff. As a matter of fact, they have a whole shop that is basically like a showroom of holsters that they make and that are available not only for males, but also for females, and different methods of carrying outside the waistband, inside the waistband, also bra holsters, pocketbooks, you name it. So it's kind of cool that they have a shop there that is thriving. And like I said, guys, if you can throw them some business, that would be great, because especially if you're supporting businesses in gun-unfriendly states like New York, that's even better. So let's take a look at the holster overall. Let me zoom in a little bit. And by the way, if you hear my voice, it's a little bit weird. That's because I've actually been sick. So I'm just recovering and trying to get better, and that's why I decided to do this today. Now, obviously, it's a real basic Kydex holster. I mean, there's nothing here that's going to say, oh, look at that, or look at this feature, with the exception of one thing, and that's going to be this clip. The clip is a little bit different than what you would normally see on other holsters. You're going to notice that there's 2 points of access here, and what you can do with the clip is you can actually change the height of the clip. You can actually change the cant depending on how you want to wear it. And nonetheless, it's kind of like that multi-use clip that allows you to be able to maneuver the holster, kind of change it on your height in regards if you're going to carry appendix or not. So it is kind of cool to have that ability to do that. Also, one of the things that I did notice about the clip, unlike some other traditional Schultz clips, the Schultz clips have a tendency to come out a little bit further and be a little bit thicker of material. I've noticed that with those clips, especially when I'm trying to put them on my belt, sometimes they don't actually latch onto my belt really well. I actually have to reposition the clip on the belt in order for this bottom lip to catch on to the lower portion of my belt. I did not notice that with this clip. I don't know if it's because it seems like it's a little bit thinner or because this doesn't come out as much. But once I got it on there, this clip is extremely durable. It's extremely rigid, and it held the gun all day long. Now, I did wear this gun for probably about 2 weeks now, and I had no issues carrying the gun whatsoever. Now, in regards to the hold of the holster, again, you can see that right about there is where you're going to get that resistance point. You have your single point of retention right there. And of course, you got a nice noticeable click, and that's a very loud clip. Again, this gun does not go anywhere. As a matter of fact, the gun is unloaded. However, here is a magazine that is full. And just for your interests, you'll notice that there's absolutely no movement from this holster. One of the things I did like about this holster as well is this actually sweat shield here, or the sweat guard. One of the things that sometimes you have to realize about the Walther PPQ is that it is a fairly large slide. That's the only knock I have against this gun, is that just the height of the slide is pretty high. However, with the heat shield, with the sweat shield, you're going to notice that it actually comes up and actually covers your rear sight. And while it makes it look like it's a lot thicker, it's actually a very small profile. As a matter of fact, one of the things I always look at holsters is the thickness of what you're wearing. The thicker the holster, probably the more uncomfortable it's going to be. But this one actually is fairly thin, and I do like that. I feel like that gives you a little bit better ability to conceal a gun like a PPQ. Drawing the gun is not an issue, and you can tell right here that in regards to the craftsmanship, everything is fairly good. I don't see any marks on it. Every line is very smooth. There's no jagged corners on it. And again, it is polished on the edges here, so it is a fairly nice looking holster. Again, one of the things that I was also sort of hesitant on when it first came out were these Kydex models that have this carbon fiber look to it. But I have to say, I do like the carbon fiber look. It's actually pretty cool, and it actually gives you a little bit of more of a texture to the Kydex as opposed to really slippery and smooth. So I do like that as well. Again, just reholstering the holster. That's a nice solid click. This holster in particular was made for the PPQ, but it is also used for the P99. So again, the holster can be used for both those guns if you own them. And again, even though this was, probably made more for a paddle, because you can actually see that little mark there, it holds no problem, no issues there whatsoever. So again, pretty good stuff. So I would highly recommend taking a look at this company. I mean, again, like I said, they're based out of New York State. For me, that's a big bonus because I do want to help support companies that are local, especially in this godforsaken state. So just to leave you with a real quick snapshot of what it's like to carry this and also to, extract the gun out of the holster, we'll leave you with that. And, hopefully you guys will take a look at it. Again, it is just Holster It. And I would suggest you take a look at them, especially if you want to support a small business that is in a gun unfriendly state like New York. All right, guys, so we're outside. So I'm going to tell you that, carrying a holster for me has always been about how I dress and what I'm wearing. So for those of you out there who are going to say, well, how does it carry? How does it print? It really is going to be a variance because it all depends on how you dress. I tend to wear bigger jackets in the wintertime, obviously, depending on what I'm wearing underneath. Like, for example, this shirt here is a little bit tighter. And it also depends where I'm going. If I know I'm going someplace where I'm not going to be wearing a jacket a lot, then I'm going to definitely probably change what I'm wearing up top. However, in this case, you guys can see that I am wearing a jacket and basically a thin long sleeve shirt underneath. And if I turn to the side, there is no carrying. Again, the gun is right here on my side. You don't see any real printing at all, but that's to be expected with a jacket. Now again, getting in that position of ready to draw your handgun, it's basically a clean, quick movement, and out you go. Again, reholstering is very easy. This is something that you should be practicing and doing this from time to time so that you guys know exactly where that gun is, how that gun is going to come out, and what method you're going to use. So some people may take their left hand and sweep around their jacket, lift it up, and then come out that way from your draw. It really is based upon what you guys train or how you guys train and what you're wearing. I mean, ultimately it boils down to what your comfort level is. I mean, even if I was to take this jacket off, which I will quickly, even though it's cold out, you can see that the gun will print, but again, remind yourselves that this is a thinner shirt than I would wear outside. The printing isn't major, but it's still there, and I know it is. So you have to make sure that, again, it's about how you're dressing and what you're carrying at the time. The PPQ is notoriously a big gun in regards to slide height and the thickness of the slide, but at the same time, it is absolutely doable. So again, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out the Holster Company. I think you guys are going to really enjoy their product, and I hope you guys have a great night. Stay safe, and as always, everyone, freedom is never free.